Ben is going to kick it off. And Ben, again, brother, I can't tell you how grateful I am, thankful I am for your partnership. What you bring to the table is so valuable that I cannot imagine us doing business without you. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for turning those cameras on. You're all champions and championettes for that. Give it up for your first speaker today. Give me your best energy, Mr. Ben Klinger.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Lester. Appreciate that introduction. And I really appreciate our partnership in business. You've been a great mentor to me in many, many ways. So I just want to thank you for that. And in fact, that's one of the topics we're going to talk about today, is the power of our business model, and leadership and mentorship being a big part of that. But we're going to cover a lot of things. I'm really excited. This is the winner's circle here. So welcome. You've qualified for Fast Start School. It really is a big deal. And I take it as a great privilege to be able to teach this class. It's actually probably my favorite class to teach of all of the different trainings and classes that we have. So that's how big of a deal it is. So we appreciate you. I see everyone, with your cameras on and engaged and ready to go. So I really appreciate that. And I'm coming to you from San Diego, although I live in San Francisco. Came down here again. We were here last weekend for our kickoff event, and now I have so I had in the last couple of days some more business meetings here. And what a beautiful thing it is to be able to run our business wherever we are, thanks to this Zoom technology. And that's one of the incredible things that's happened in our business over the last few years, 2-3 years here, is being able to leverage technology to not only keep running our business, to actually exponentially grow it. So yeah, we're going to jump into it because we're going to cover some great things for part one. We're going to be going into, or I guess we're staying in here. I guess I don't see the breakout rooms anymore. Oh, I do see the breakout room. Okay.
Yeah, it's open.
Okay, perfect. So for the Fast Start School people, that should be pretty much everybody on. We're going to jump into the Fast Start School breakout room in the Zoom, and we'll get started over there. And I will see you in there. It's a journey. And but it's been pretty much the biggest blessing in my life. But it's nothing compared to where we're going over the next 7 years. These last 7 years have been incredible, but the stage has been set, and that's not just for me, but that's for all of you that are now part of this company and this business, to be able to make incredible leaps and bounds over the next several years here. And we're going to talk a little bit about why that is. But it just, I wake up every day grateful, loving, and excited. That's one of my affirmations, and there's a lot to be grateful for. So yeah, I'm married. I've been married for just about 1.5 years now to my incredible wife, Joyce. A lot of you guys met her at the kickoff event last weekend, and I met a lot of you. I know some of you, and some of you I don't. So it's great to meet you and spend some time with you this morning. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into it. But I'll just tell you kind of, okay, why does somebody make a transition from being a full-time DJ into this business? And it's not a common progression for those of you that aren't familiar with the music and entertainment world. That's not a typical progression to go from DJing into a financial professional. But I had a bit of a wake-up call in my life on a couple of different levels. First, it was really watching my parents as they got into their retirement years being financially completely unprepared. Most of the things that we teach people on a daily basis in this business, my parents never got exposed to that information. And because of that, especially for my father in his last, I'd say 20 years of his life, was financial stress, was living month to month, was scrambling to make ends meet, and then health issues taking effect, and then not knowing how to deal with it, how to have the financial resources. And I realized that I was headed down that same path, right? I had really no financial plan, no retirement savings. I was already in my early to mid 30s when all of this was happening. about 11 years ago. And I just realized I got to figure something out. Like, how does this happen? My parents are intelligent people, hardworking. They've had success in their careers, and so how is it now that it's all for nothing? But and then they're scrambling and stressed out about money. So I saw a need, and I didn't know where to go to get it, but thank God that somebody had started, one of our family friends had started this business and put me on her top 25 list. And I want to encourage you guys to have that understanding of the power of putting somebody on a top 25 list can completely change their life to be able to, once you meet with them and share what we do, because that's what it did for me. And so I saw an opportunity here to learn about how money works, to learn about business and entrepreneurship, and an opportunity to make money on a part-time basis and not have to stop DJing and doing what I was already doing. So really, I thought, there's really nothing to lose. Let me see where this goes. And then over the years, as I started to see how many people needed this and what an impact it was that we were making on people's lives, I decided to go all in. And of course, when I started making more money here part-time than my full-time music work, that also felt pretty good. And I realized my time is way more valuable than I had thought, right? What I used to get paid as a DJ, I thought was decent money, not too bad. Now coming into this business, I realized my time is way more valuable, and I deserve more. So that's kind of how I made the transition here. And really, this is a business with unlimited earning potential, but also I would say unlimited, but it is limited in terms of our impact only by the number of people that are on this planet. That's the only limit to the impact that we can make through what we teach people. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get into part one. After part one of Fast Start School, that'll take about an hour. We'll take about a 10-minute break. And then Kirsten Barron, the incredible Kirsten Barron, is going to teach part two. And part two might even be better than part one. I mean, they're both great. But I'll tell you, part one here, we're going to talk about some mindset stuff. And some of that you may know, but just go ahead and listen with open ears and an open mind, and you'll see how it relates specifically to this business. But also here in part one, we're going to be talking about our business system. We have a turnkey system that allows somebody who was a DJ to be able to be a success in this business. So if a DJ can do it, no matter what you do or what your background is, you can absolutely succeed here if you give yourself the chance, if you believe that you can and will succeed. So as I share my screen here, we're going to get into it. And if you guys could give me a thumbs up just to make sure you can see the screen there, it says Fast Start School. Yeah. All right. Perfect. Thank you guys for your interaction. All right. So business mindset. Some of you come from a background of being an employee. Some of you are self-employed. Some of you already have a business or you have a business mindset. But either way, you are not working for Virtuity or World Financial Group. You're not working for your senior marketing director. You are in business for yourself, but not by yourself. You are building a business here that really does come with true ownership. So you want to make sure you have that mindset of, I'm building a business. This is my business. So there are 3 stages to the business. And so learning anything, right? You could think of this, in terms of when you, first started to learn how to ride a bike or anything, right? At first, it's awkward. It feels weird. It's different and it's awkward. But as you continue, it starts to become mechanical. You learn the steps, you do the steps, and it's not feeling natural yet, but it's mechanical and you're, okay, now you know how to do it. It's a little less awkward. And then eventually, as you continue, now it becomes natural. So just understand these are the stages that you're moving through in this business. It's okay if it feels awkward at first, and then it's going to feel a little bit mechanical. That's why we have scripts, right? That's an example of the mechanical. Just practice the script, but then eventually you do it over and over and it becomes natural. So the key with all of this is the consistency. You have to repeat the actions over and over to go through these 3 stages. And I'll tell you, when it becomes natural, man, it's so much fun. But be patient with yourself and allow yourself to go through these stages. And so as we go on here, understanding the scenario of misunderstanding. So oftentimes, when you're starting anything new, it's going to, some people will be very supportive. Some people will not be supportive. They'll misunderstand it, or they'll think like, oh, you can't do that, right? Ben, you're a DJ. What are you talking about? You're learning something in financial services. Like that's going to be extremely difficult. I remember, when I first got started, I was talking to one of my friends and what I was doing. Oh, yeah, that's going to be hard, man. That's not an easy business. I don't know, like music, all of these different things, right? So just understand that everyone goes through that. Be ready to take a few arrows, right? Be ready to get a few people, even some people that maybe really love and care about you and think they're looking out for you. They might discourage you from pursuing this. I would suggest stick with your heart, stick with your gut, and give this thing a solid chance to then determine if it's really for you or not. And what I mean by that is like a good 6 to 12 months, help several families in the field as a licensed professional, make some money here and see the impact that we have and take it from there. But we are, controversial. I would say we're different by design. We are a different type of company because in our industry, you never had an opportunity to come in part-time, to get leadership and mentorship. You don't have to have a background or any sort of understanding of finances that much here. You get to learn it through our world-class training system. So we are different by design, and we're proud of it. But for that reason, we can be, certainly controversial, and some people just have a misunderstanding of it. But, in one of the next few slides here, you're going to get a much better understanding of our business model so that you'll be able to start to describe that more and more as you speak with people. So, but this thing, just getting by or settling, this terminology, settling in life, or just getting by, or hey, just surviving, right? Hey, how you doing? Oh, just surviving, man. Another day, like just trying to make it through. Man, nothing frustrates me more when people say that. It's actually quite sad. It's really sad that the majority of people in this country have just accepted that they're just kind of like struggling through life and just trying to get by. And we're changing that. We are absolutely changing that. And one of the ways that, we may, people may misunderstand, or sometimes people may discourage you from this, is because they've given up on their dreams and goals. They've completely given up. They've thrown the towel in. They're just dialing it in, just trying to make enough money to pay their bills, and that's it. But here, we're giving you an opportunity to actually fulfill your biggest dreams and goals. Now, it's going to not happen overnight, obviously, but I will tell you that even in my first few years in this business, being encouraged to dream and set some big goals, that was very uncomfortable. It was awkward, right? Talking about awkward, mechanical, natural. It was awkward for me to start thinking big, or to tell somebody, hey, I believe in you, you can do this. That was awkward. I was like, who are these people? Like, why do they believe in me so much? They don't even know me that well, right? But they see something. So you're, people that are working with you, they've given you this opportunity, they're coaching you, field training you. We see something in you, and we know the power of this business model, and we can with confidence say that whatever your biggest dreams and goals are, you can accomplish it here. I've already been able to accomplish some of that. If we have time, I'll share with you a quick story of one of those things. But I will tell you, there are few things in life, if anything, that feels better than setting some kind of big goal and then making it happen. Few things in life will ever compare to that, especially if that goal or dream involves people you love, like it did for me, and providing an experience for them. So that's one of the ways where we are very different. So here's the thing, a lot of times people think, okay, I'm me, and then I can either succeed or I can fail. which direction can I go? Oh, I'd like to go into the success direction. And if I fail, that means that's the end of it. That's not how business works. That's not how entrepreneurship works. You must go through some level of failure, and oftentimes over and over again until you succeed. Failure is part of success. So understand that, and if you're writing notes, failure is a part of success. I don't know if you guys know the story of Colonel Sanders. Started KFC. You can Google it afterwards. You make a little side note. But I don't have the exact age, but I think he was in his 70s. He was like 70 years old by the time he got somebody. He had pitched his chicken recipe idea to like hundreds of people, I think it was close to 1,000 different people. He got no after no after no after no. And at that stage, being so old, in his life, and getting that many no's, how many people would just keep going? Well, he did, and now you can find KFC like in almost every country in the world. Huge, one of the biggest franchises out there, right? So I'm not a big fan of the word failure, to be honest with you, because I've just accepted the fact that, number one, no matter how good your product or service is, not everybody's going to want it. I don't care what it is. You could have the cure for cancer. Some people are going to be skeptical. What? No way. You can't. Nah, I'm not interested, right? Because they just, whatever. That's just how people are, right? So just, I've just accepted that, hey, I already know this is not for everybody. So I'm going to get a certain amount of no's in this business, and I'm not concerned about it. I'm going to keep going until I get those that say yes, those that are interested, those that are open. So that's the path there. Now, one of the things that has absolutely helped me to develop myself and succeed to the extent that I have thus far is personal development. This is a huge, huge component of our business. You have to be able to grow your capacity. When I started, I was not, in a position to run $1 million business. And now I am, and eventually I'm going to get to a point where I'm, capable of running an 8-figure business, and so on and so forth. But it's coming through a lot of the books that I've read, that have been recommended, the podcasts, audiobooks, all of these things. So here are a few. I would certainly make a note of these. The one that stands out to me as being the most beneficial for me in the beginning of this business is the one right here in the middle, by Steve Siebold, 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class. This is a huge book, just so important for mental toughness. Of course, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill is a classic. And then to understand a little bit more about the products and services we offer, The Retirement Miracle by Patrick Kelly. He's got a few different books. Those are great. But, even if you carve out just 1 hour a day, that's only 7 hours a week out of your 168 hours a week that we all have, that you can put towards personal development. It will accelerate your success exponentially. I can say that with certainty. So definitely spend time with that. And then associations, right? You're going to have to really start to be mindful about who you're spending your time with, the environment that you put yourself in, and is it beneficial? Are they people that are helping you grow, that are, encouraging you, that are helping you to think on a different level versus the same old, right? The people that you used to hang out with, and they're all kind of just in the same place that they've been for the last 5, 10, 15 years in life. And so, sometimes that's a tough thing to do, to be able to, kind of separate yourself from friends and people that you've been close to, that you might even like spending time with them, but you have to start to reevaluate, are they helping you to kind of excel in life? They say you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So it's something to consider. One of the great things about this business is the associations that you get to create here. I've never had a chance to, hang out with millionaires in my life before this business. Just haven't. I don't think I knew any millionaires, right? And now, I know not only do I get to know them, I get to actually spend time, get mentorship, and have personal conversations with, multimillionaires that have built successful businesses, most of whom started off just the same as me, and probably many of you, not coming from money, but put in the work to develop it. But they'll say it's not just the money, they also have rich relationships, marriages of 10, 15, 20, 30 years. I want to learn from those people as well. I'm in year 2 of my marriage. It's the first marriage and it's my only marriage, right? My wife and I talk about that all the time. But the association, 2 nights ago down here in San Diego, I was in a small room with people like Marshall Fox, David Meltzer, Ed Milet, learning, hearing from them, the secrets to success. It's not secrets, they're sharing it with us, but I qualified through this business to be able to be in a room with them and to be able to get some direct mentorship from individuals like that. Incredible, absolutely incredible. So building a business, okay, what does it take? Number 1 is energy. Man, we should have a whole Fast Start School just on energy, right? A 3-hour class. I could go on and on about how important that is and how this is really, everything in life revolves around energy. And so what does that mean in this business? Well, your energy, your enthusiasm. I tell my associates all the time, when you're, talking to people, when you're inviting them to a field training or to join a company overview, very little of it. Yes, you have to learn the words and, say the right words, not say the wrong ones. But the majority of what people respond to is your energy. It's your enthusiasm. That's what they feel, right? For those of you that came to our kickoff event last week, did you feel the energy, right, of the people there? Did you feel the energy of the room? So the room itself probably has some energy, but then it's the people in that room that bring it. Could you get that in another way through a Zoom? No. Now, we leverage Zoom to be able to train kind of more on a daily basis, but we have events in person throughout the year because of the energy in that room. I also think about, a concert. So you could go to a concert, right? Think about like a concert, you're one of your favorite artists, you went, you saw them perform live, you were there, you were in the crowd, what was the energy like, right? Incredible experience, okay? Now, think if you had watched that same concert on TV, would the energy be the same? Obviously not, like night and day. It'd be cool, it'd be entertaining, right? You'd be like, oh, this is cool, it's a great concert, watching it on TV. But compared to being there at the concert, completely different. So be mindful of your energy. And the two things they say you can control in life are your attitude and your activity. Life is not what happens to you, it's how you respond. This is how life is. It's not what happens in your life, it's how you respond to it. That's your attitude. So always have a positive attitude towards things, even challenges and things that are happening that seem to be terrible. You have to understand that there may be some benefit down the road for that. The situation I went through as I saw my father struggling in life and then getting sick and then needing full-time health care, having to navigate the healthcare system for someone who has pretty much no money in America, extremely difficult, right? That was the hardest time in my life. But because of that experience, it allowed me to become open-minded just enough to when I got a call from somebody from this company saying, hey, Janet, said you might be interested. She told me you had this quality and that quality. I don't know if it's a fit for you, but you might want to check out this business. I was just open-minded enough to come and see about this thing. And now here I am. So perfect. Yeah. And feel free to put some things in the chat. I see the energy was amazing at the event. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Time. Let's go to the next one here. Understanding that this is a marathon, right? Not a sprint. Now, there will be times in your business that it will be a sprint, right? When you're going for a certain promotion, a 117, a 330, a 530, for those of you, looking to qualify for the John Shin contest, right? And get some mentorship, get in the room, get in the house of someone, a successful person like John, and he's a fun guy too. But understand that this is not a job. You're not clocking in, on a 9 to 5. This is a marathon. So understand that this is something that will take time. This is not a get rich quick overnight thing. Anything worth, having in life, it takes time. It's not necessarily going to be easy all the time. And then lastly, hard work. 95% of people typically don't make it in business. Why is it? Well, they want immediate gratification. They maybe aren't willing to work, that hard. They thought they wanted to be wealthy. They thought they wanted, this dream life, but then they realize, oh, I actually have to put in some work over a sustained period of time. Maybe I don't want it, right? I don't know if that's you or not. But what I will say is if you're it's hard being broke. It's really hard actually to be broke. And it's probably going to take some hard work to be wealthy as well. So you can choose your hard, right? Which one do you want to have? And so what you put in here is what you get out. That's what I love. I love being in control of my destiny. I love being in control of my business. I love being in control of my income. I mean, that's an incredible feeling, and you don't have that as an employee, right? And here, I know what I need to do if I need to double, triple, quadruple my income. I'll tell you, my first full year license in this business, I made about $26,000, something like that. Maybe less, maybe it was like $23,000. So I was still kind of part-time, that was my first full year license. The next year, I gave this more of a full-time effort. I made $96,000. I just about 5x my income from one year to the next in this business. I've never done anything like that in my music business and nothing, right? And there are people that have 10x their income year over year in this business. That's how powerful this business model is. And then become a student of the BFS. The BFS, this is our business format system. This is definitely something you want to write down. For those of you that are licensed and you have access to MyWFG, you can find the business format system in the MyWFG BFS. They will teach you everything you need to know about the business. They say that if you were dropped onto an island and you had no idea about this business, nothing, but you were dropped on an island with a BFS book, assuming there were people on that island, you would be able to build a successful business with just that BFS book. So it gives you just the whole business format system. We're touching on some of it today. Now, the cash flow quadrant. Probably most of you have seen this, when you first had your interview to kind of, see if this was a fit for you. But I want to go through this one more time because this is something that you're going to want to get really good at describing to people as you start to do your own presentation eventually. There's a book by the same guy that wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, and he actually wrote the book called Cash Flow Quadrant. And it talks about the different ways to produce income. Now you've got about 95% of the population on the left side of the quadrant here, that this is how they produce income. They're either employees or they're self-employed. Now, the limitation with that is time. When you've maxed out your time, you've maxed out your income. So even if you're self-employed, you still only have 24 hours in a day. You got to sleep, you got to eat, family time, whatever. So you're limited by your time. Now, when you start to look at the right side of the quadrant here, business owners and investors, that's where 95% of the wealth in America is. Why is that? And I gave you kind of the answer. It's time, right? So what we're teaching people is to go from employee to self-employed and then to the business owner quadrant in this format, in our business. It's designed to help you become a business owner. And that is by leveraging not just your time, but other people's time. And that is the agency building model that we have. And so that way you're working with a team. And it's, let's say you have a 10-person team, you go from having 8 hours, like let's say 8 hours working in a day, like most people full time. Now with your 10-person team, you've got 80 hours in a day, right? So they say everybody's got 24 hours a day. Not here, not in WFG. If you build a team, you can start to exponentially increase how many hours you have in a day to be productive. And so this is a huge deal, right? I used to think that I was a business owner when I was a DJ because I opened a bank account with my business name on it. But at the end of the day, if I didn't show up to the gig, I didn't get paid. So I realized coming in, it was actually in one of my first training classes when I was a brand new associate here, that I realized I wasn't actually a true business owner. And so now, because I have a team of licensed agents, I actually am a true business owner, and it feels amazing. Even when I'm on vacation, when I'm traveling, doing whatever, my business is still running no matter what I'm doing. And that's where we want to help you guys get to build a passive residual income. Passive residual income. This is one of the key components to our business, and why, as you're talking and meeting with other people, they might have other opportunities that they can make good money. They might have a job offer with a great salary, but ask them, does it give you a passive income? What happens when you stop working? Does your income stop? Well, here, if you build your business the right way, when you stop working, your passive income will continue to come in, and that's a big deal. So let's talk about our business format system, our BFS. There are 6 main steps, right? This is it. When I talk about a turnkey system here, 6 steps that you need to master in order to build a hugely successful business here. And I will tell you, this is not, they used to say this is a 7-figure a year opportunity. We're in a new era. It's now an 8-figure a year opportunity. There's a gentleman named Rajal Dhaliwal in our company. He's been here only for about 14 years in this business. He was a cab driver prior to this, and he's making over $10 million a year. And people are now getting, to these levels even faster. But here are the 6 steps to our business format system. Step 1 is prospecting. This is people, right? We need people in our business. That's our material, right? Is we help people. So prospecting is meeting people through social media, online, in person, through your friends, your network, getting referrals, all of these different things. Step 1, prospecting. Step 2, approach and contact. This is, reaching out to these people and speaking with them and inviting them to see a presentation, right? To a field training, to an appointment. Step 3 is then the presentation, right? Sharing what we do. Understand that it is completely ineffective to try to describe to somebody our business over the phone. I can tell you that because I've tried. Early on, before I got really good at, the script and inviting people, I kind of, would make a call and someone would ask me some questions and I started answering them and I got into a whole Q&A thing. 10, 15 minutes later, I realized I got suckered in. I got pulled into trying to answer all these questions and basically give a presentation over the phone. And you know how many times that resulted in me actually having a meeting with that person? 0. You can't describe this thing over the phone. So the whole idea of the step 2, approaching contact, is not to tell people what we do. Okay, that is not step 2. Step 2 is to book an appointment so that they can see what we do. And now that's done sometimes in person, but primarily on Zoom. That's step 3. Now it's a presentation. So these are different steps. Don't try to combine these into one. So step 3 is the presentation, sharing what we do. And then step 4, follow-up, right? Book a follow-up appointment with them so that they can, see whatever aspect of the business they like. Oh, I'm interested in the business and generating more income. Fantastic. Oh, I'd like to get my own, complimentary financial plan and start saving money or roll over my old 401k or whatever it is. Fantastic. So that's step 4, the follow-up. In general, follow-up in our business is so important. I can't tell you how many times, like some people I had to follow up with them, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and eventually, got an appointment with them. And it might just be a timing thing. Sometimes you might think, if people don't answer or don't respond, that they're not interested. Do not make that assumption. Do not make that assumption. I remember my father, one of the sayings that he would instill in us that I remember to this day is assume. When you look at the word assume, it makes an ass out of you and me. That's how it's spelled, right? So basically the moral is don't assume, because you never know what's happening in people's lives. Now, one of the things I'll say about the follow-up is one of my great concerns was, I don't want to bug these people. I don't want them to think I'm, being like pesky and annoying and all these different things. And that goes back to the whole mental toughness and approval addiction, that book by Steve Siebold, the 177 Mental Toughness Secrets, right? Like, we want people to like us, we want everybody's approval, more or less, right? So this is something I've had to work on over the years. But the thing that drove me to be able to continue to get past those ego-based concerns of mine and continue to follow up with people until I could get a meeting with them or like a hard no, which most of the time that did not happen. It was just more of trying to get in touch and find a time that works. What allowed me to get past that was having a very strong reason why I wanted to succeed here. And so we're going to talk about that towards the end of this part 1. But when you hear about, hey, you got to know your why, that's why, because my goals and dreams were more important than me feeling like, I don't want to, bother that person or seem annoying or whatever. And here's the funny thing. Even people that I had to call 5, 6 times and then to finally get that meeting with them, so many times they would tell me, hey, thank you for your persistence. Thank you, Ben, for following up. I know it's been hard to get a hold of us, but now that we sat down and see what you're doing, we need this. And thank you so much. So that's just a little lesson there on the follow-up. Step 5, startup. So let's say this is somebody who is interested in joining your team and starting this business. Then startup, we can also refer to this as the fast start. So you'll hear that, right? The fast start. So that's getting them on board and getting them ready to go. And then step 6 is duplication, repeating these 6 steps. And that's what our business format system is, these 6 steps. What's the most important one? All of them, right? But I would say if you really want to build a successful business here, it's duplication. But start with step 1, right? Just master these one at a time. And this is, they say the rapid repetition, okay? The rapid repetition of these 6 steps will lead to an inevitable explosion in your business. This is what it is. So let's see what that looks like here. Duplication. So when you've got, when you're brand new or you've got a new associate, they develop a prospect list. We call this the top 25. Some people have, gone beyond that and made their top 50, top 100. It's a prospect list, a list of people. And then you contact them. So when you contact them, it can go one of 2 ways. It can be a one-on-one, and let's say they'd like to, have their financial strategy, their FNA, right, financial needs analysis. They become a client, and then we get referrals from them, and then it goes back, your referrals back on the prospect list, new prospect. Referrals are hugely important in our business. This is what allows us to help more people, help more communities out there. Referrals. I just recently had one of my clients. I've been following up, again, follow up. following up with her for years to get, more referrals. She's given me a few when we first started working together. And now she's part of a women's group, and they do a lot of different things to empower each other. I said, would you be willing to just kind of put the word out there on your group, let them know what that I've helped you with your finances over the years, to see who's interested in learning more, right? Not who wants to become a client, not who wants to buy life insurance, not who wants to start saving money. Interested in learning more. This is a great term that I would also encourage you to write down. Like, oh, would you be interested in learning more? Who would say no to that, right? Most people would not. And by the way, so she did that, 15 yeses. She got 15 people, and she sent me 15 separate emails connecting me to that person. And boom, just like that, I've got 15 prospects now that I added to my list. The other direction it can go when you contact someone is, oh, I'll join a BPM, a business presentation meeting. We also call it a company overview. So you'll hear that term, BPM, business presentation meeting. It's just sharing what we do more in a group setting on a Zoom instead of one-on-one. And so then they see the BPM, and then again, the key, you see the word there again, is popping up, follow-up, right? The BPM, the company overview, is just kind of a top level exposure to what we do. We need to follow up with them to see what they might be interested in. Okay. Oh, would you like to learn about this? Would you like to learn about that? Or maybe they were confused about something. They had a question. So the follow-up. And then let's say they're like, oh, I'm actually interested in joining the business. Then we do their AMA, Associate Membership Agreement. This is the $125 that you all spent and invested to be able to get access to this business and become an independent associate with us. AMA stands for Associate Membership Agreement. Now, you're not going to say that to a prospect. They don't know what the heck an AMA is. Right? So we can say, oh, get started in the business, become an independent associate. So when they sign their AMA, then part of the step, to developing their business, the startup, is developing a prospect list, and boom, goes back. So you can see how it's a very simple, funnel here. And the key is simplify to multiply. Simplify to multiply. Don't overcomplicate things. You really want to make sure that you're just kind of keeping things simple. And this is a huge, component to our system, is the simplicity of it. Okay. 7-step duplication. So these are the 7 steps, when you have a new associate getting started here. So number 1, of course, is taking the test, getting your license, and submitting that and getting registered with WFG. Second is meeting the spouse, if they're married, right, or close to, right, equivalent. This is so important, guys, because the last thing you want is your new associate trying to explain everything about this business to their spouse, right? They're brand new. They don't know, right? The spouse is going to have questions. And so, and that new associate's going to try and answer those questions. They're probably not going to answer it effectively. And that's a scenario of misunderstanding. We want to avoid that. So you want to control the point of contact and be able to, meet the spouse, share what we do. And this can be one of their first field trainings, right? Hey, great. We knock out a field training, and now your spouse sees what we're doing. They don't have to join the business. They don't have to become a client, but we do want them to know what we do so that they can be a source of referrals and be a source of support for their spouse. I remember there was a gentleman named Roland in my business. He's still a referral partner now. And when he got started, when I brought him on board, I said, hey, this is great. I'm excited. I know you're married. How soon can we meet your spouse? Like, can you guys come back to the office later today or tomorrow? And I don't know why, but like the next day or the next couple of days wasn't like a good time for both of us or whatever. I was like, can you go and then go get her and bring her back to the office this afternoon? And that's exactly what they did. They had a newborn baby. He left a couple hours later. The baby and the wife came back to the office. I got to meet them, and the rest is history. He got started, and so that's how important it is to meet the spouse quickly. Then you want to help your new associate develop their prospect list, top 25, and then start doing field presentations, field trainings, right? Like a lot of you guys have done, actually all of you to qualify for this class have done at least 3 of those field trainings. Also, their personal F&A, right? You got to be a client to some extent. There's a few rare circumstances where it may not be suitable or, you know, something going on, but for the most part, to succeed in this business, if you're not a client, if you're not practicing what we preach, if you don't have your own personal testimony of what you're doing here, it's going to be very difficult to succeed. And then you want to complete your 117. You got to get your new, you know, first business partner and family health or client in their first 7 days, 117. And that's such an important building block, you know, to this business. And then duplication, right? Just do it over again. So that's the 7-step duplication. All right. So 2 different paths that a person can kind of take when we get started here. And this is why we talk about being coachable as such an important part to, you know, success. And also for your, you know, for your senior marketing director, you know, as they're developing their team, they've, you know, got a lot of people that want their time. And from a business standpoint, you know, we as leaders, as trainers, as senior marketing directors, we have to kind of really be mindful about where we're spending our time, not based on who we like, right? Or who's the coolest or who we've been friends with or whatever, but based on who's the, number one, the most coachable, right, to our system, because we know that leads to a higher chance of success. And then also who's the most committed, right? Now, that doesn't mean committing the most hours a week. We know that some of you guys have other full-time work, but within the part-time aspect, how committed are you? Are you showing up to the trainings? Are you showing up on time? You know, all of these different things. Now, someone who's maybe not so coachable, wants to do things their own way, is going to just, you know, take several months, not do anything, not do any field training appointments, just focus on getting their license. Okay. All right. That's one path. Option B is focusing on field training, getting your 117 and then eventually your 3 new business partners. Now, what happens when you do that is that your trainer is then going to work with your new business partners to do the same thing, duplication, right? Okay, hey, let's get your, you know, first 3 business partners. Let's start field training. Now, some of them, you see the X's here, some of them are going to quit or not follow through or whatever, but a lot of them are going to stick around. But look at this exponential growth in building an organization that you can do as you start to focus on field training and 117 and 330, is before you know it, you know, in this scenario, after 6 months, you could have 729 people in your organization. This is the fast path to being, you know, becoming successful and wealthy here. The new era that we've entered into this business is, and why we have some people that in their first 2 years in this business are now 7-figure earners. Yes, there are people in this company that after 2 years are earning $1 million in a 12-month rolling 12-month cash flow. It's because this is what they're on option B. They're on this track. Yes, they're putting in a lot of hours. They're extremely coachable. They're moving fast, right? They're leveraging their trainers and their leadership, but they're building a big organization. And that's what allows someone to succeed like that. So interesting timing for what's happening in our economy and in business these days. Some of the biggest companies, right? So let's take Uber, for example, right? The world's largest, you know, taxi company. They don't own any vehicles, right? They don't even own cars. They're just providing a service. Facebook, the world's most popular media owner, they don't create any of their content, right? We as users of that, we create the content. You know, Alibaba, the most valuable retailer, they don't have any inventory. Airbnb, the world's largest accommodation provider, they don't own any real estate. World Financial Group, the world's largest financial services distributor, we don't own any product. right? WFG is a marketing company. It is a distribution model. We don't have a WFG mutual fund. There is no WFG insurance policy. We are a marketing company. And, you know, we haven't even really tapped into the marketplace as much as we could. This is why we have a recruiting and agency building model, is because we're not even making a dent in the amount of people that need our help. But when we think of successful business models in the modern era, just look at these examples and we're following right in line with that. So I don't know about you, but that gets me extremely excited, right? I mean, this is, yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about the timing too. But when we think about our industry, typically, there's a few obviously different ways of doing it, different companies in our industry. So some of them, there's trust. So if you think about like Farmers Insurance, you know, AARP, State Farm, AAA, like, you know, there's a lot of trust there because, you know, they have clients that have been, you know, clients of theirs for a very long time. And so they start adding on different, you know, policies, right? So it used to be just car insurance or travel insurance for a lot of those companies. They're like, hey, we can get into the life insurance business because our clients, there's already some trust there, but they're not really experts in that area. That's not their focus. It's just kind of an add-on. So they're only servicing their warm market. Then there's companies that might have some credibility, like a Merrill Lynch, but there's no trust there. It's a cold calling target market type deal. Then you could have a hybrid where we're combining trust and credibility. That's what we have here, right? The trust is you, right? If you're a new associate doing the field training, you bring the trust. The credibility is your trainer, right? We have the credibility in this industry. Marrying those two things is what makes us effective. Eventually, you'll be both, right? Eventually, people that know you will also see you as a financial professional, but that's going to take time. Think about me, DJ, right? You think I could just go out there even once I got my license and just be like, hey, like, I can help you save money. I'm going to do a financial plan for you. They'd be like, you know, what do you mean? You're playing at the club tonight, and then tomorrow morning you want to help me with my financial plan, right? But now, you know, now everyone in my circle sees me as the money guy. They used to see me as the music guy. It took time. So in the beginning, I leveraged my trainer, their credibility. I brought the trust, and that's how I started to succeed. So distribution models. There's a lot of different distribution models, right? You've got, you know, sorry for the typo, but you got broker agent, like in real estate and mortgage. You've got retail, like in banking institutions, franchise business model, like State Farm. You got independent, right? You could just be an independent advisor or insurance agent. Then you have MLM, multi-level marketing, or network, where it's primarily a recruiting focus and not a whole lot of support after that. Our business model is a hybrid. It's an agency building model. We've taken essentially the best elements of all of these models, taken the best, we left the rest, right? We took out the negative part and created this hybrid, and that's what we have. It's an agency building model. It's so interesting because if you think about it, right? Okay, if you own a Starbucks, how can you increase your profitability as a Starbucks? Which of these two things do you think would increase your profitability? Getting more types of coffee to offer, or getting more outlets, more locations? Clearly, it's the latter, right? It's more locations. You can start to exponentially increase your profits. It's not focusing on getting more types of coffee, right? So for us, that's the agency building, more outlets. Every new licensed business partner that you get, meaning they could start unlicensed, of course, like a lot of people, and then they get their license. But every licensed agent that you have on your team is a new distribution outlet. But you don't have to invest the money to open up a whole franchise, hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? It's pretty incredible what we get to do here. So it's a hybrid business model, agency building. Now, talking about being at the right place at the right time. Well, number one, it's the need for what we do. And you're going to hear this term, our crusade. You could also think of it as our mission as a company. Our mission is no family left behind. Okay, no family left behind. Why is that? It's because the need. Now, it's so interesting. I mean, over the years, some of the things in our economy changes. What's happening right now? Inflation is high, looming recession potentially. That, from what I'm hearing from some very powerful, influential people that are in touch with powerful, influential people, it might be a several years long economic winter that we're heading into, which is actually good news for our business. We do well in times when the economy is great. We actually do even better when there's times of recession because of just the nature of what we provide, products with downside protection, safety, and then an opportunity to have another income stream, right? That's even the more important thing in times like that. But just for where things are happening right now, people are open. People are looking for different income streams. They're looking for ways to protect their money against losses, to prepare for a recession, right? I just saw a statistic the other day. 51% of Americans would not be able to cover 3 months of living expenses from an emergency fund. Over half of people would not be able to cover 3 months of an emergency fund, 3 months of expenses out of an emergency fund, and 25% of people do not even have any emergency fund savings in America. It's really bad. People absolutely need what we do. Then you have right now the baby boomer generation retiring at a rate of like 11,000 people a day. Especially right now, guys, they're like, I don't want to lose my money, but I need it to grow. I didn't save enough, So what do? Do I take the risk in the market right now, in the volatile market? Or do I just, have no growth for my money? They don't know they could have both. We can help them to have safety and potential for growing their money. This is, in the context of fixed index annuities, you only need a life and health license for that. And the annuities continuing education, right? So we're well positioned to help them. Then you have a shrinking industry in financial services. This is in real estate. You could throw a rock and hit someone with a real estate license. Like, they're everywhere, right? It's a very sexy industry, but how many of them are actually selling homes, and making money? Very small percentage. But in financial services, there's such an overwhelming need for licensed financial professionals. It's very difficult. And of course, you have the average age of an advisor out there. They're already in their 50s. They're kind of exiting. So you guys are the next wave of licensed financial professionals to be able to help people. And I'm telling you, we're in an industry that is very well positioned for what's happening right now in our economy. And then you have the bigness of our company. We have a North American expansion. So if you know people in Canada, we can expand into Canada, and it's pretty powerful. So the power of our opportunity. I'm going to go through this kind of quickly. I think a lot of you guys are already pretty sold on just how awesome this opportunity is, right? So, but just a few examples, putting it in perspective, for the operations of your business, you don't have to worry about payroll or franchise fees or, quotas, inventories, right? You don't have employees. You have to do, none of that stuff. It's incredible. I would highlight here the leadership, right? The access to top coaches and mentors as being one of the greatest things. And of course, trips, recognition, conventions, and fun. We definitely like to have fun here, as you guys saw last weekend. Now, we're getting close to wrapping up the first part. You guys good so far? Getting some good info. Appreciate you guys, hanging with us. And so we got a few more minutes here for part one. Let's finish strong, and we'll take a little bit of a break. So 7 keys to a fast start. Number 1, attend all meetings. It's how you can learn and perfect the BFS, the business format system. I got to tell you, as a leader, it's frustrating when we do a training on a certain topic. One of my associates didn't show up to that training, and then next day or next week, they're like, Ben, can you take some time to teach me about like XYZ. And I'm like, we just had a class on that last night on the training. Where were you? Now you want me to take time out of my schedule to be able to just give you that one-on-one stuff? It's a bit frustrating, right? So there's a reason why we have these trainings. And so please, do what you have to do to be available on all of them. It's so important because you're just going to succeed even faster, right? The more you learn. It's also setting an example for your team. Some of you already have some teams, might be one person, you might have a few people, but if they see you not on the training, guess what they're thinking? Oh, cool, these are optional, right? And unfortunately, that's going to be detrimental to their success. And then a couple of the biggest meetings that are important: Fast Start School, getting your new people qualified for Fast Start School, and the big in-person event, right? Huge deal, as those of you that were there can attest to. Number 2, develop your complete prospect list. This is our inventory. Always be adding names, don't eliminate them. And working in the right market, okay? As much as we want to help all people, there's only so much we can do to help people that are broke, right? It's just very difficult. They probably don't even have money. They don't have money to save, and they may not even have enough money to get started in this business to make more money. So we're still happy to meet with them, see what we can do to help or give them some guidance, and maybe we can follow up with them. But if you want to have success, look for people who are in the right market, meaning, they have income, they maybe are married or have kids, or they're, entrepreneurial, they're open to looking at opportunities, things like that. So number 3, master the invitation. This is probably the most important skill for you in this business now, right? Most of you guys have gotten your license already. Congratulations. You got to be able to book appointments, master the invitation. If we don't have people to meet with, we don't have a business. So extremely important. Number 4, here's an example of, this is kind of an outdated script a little bit. Most of you guys know how simple we keep the script now. And so, but it's really about, again, keeping your energy high, being excited about the opportunity here. And so number 4, set goals, know what you're working towards. I will tell you that the number one reason that people may not follow through and succeed here, or at least give this business a chance to succeed, is because they don't have any clearly defined goals or a clear vision of what they want in life. So I think most of you guys have probably started to put some things down on paper as far as what you want. Maybe it's a 3-month goal, but I'd also encourage you to think about a 3-year goal, a 5-year goal, a 10-year vision for what you want your life to look like. This is so important, because if you don't have, something that you're working towards, it's going to be very difficult to have the motivation, the inspiration to work every day. And so set those goals, and you can work with your senior marketing director to help kind of, okay, what would be a good goal in my business for where I'm at, right? We're here to help you with that. Number 5, begin field training immediately. Get in the field. You got to get that real world experience. It's incredible. And learn firsthand from experienced leadership. Number 6, stay positive, right? Always have a positive mental attitude. This is extremely important. Don't let negative people kill your dreams, right? Kendrick Lamar, don't kill my vibe. I'll keep it, without the bad words. But we don't want people. Don't let people kill your vibe. You gotta keep positive. That goes back to your association. And then number 7, being coachable. The sooner you can just put your faith and trust in the system, the better. I kind of resisted a little bit in the beginning, and it didn't do me very well. The moment I started to say, all right, they're telling me to do this, let me just listen to them. Let me just go for it and do it. Let me be coachable. That's when I started to get some results. And then finally, dreams and goals, right? You got to know why you're here. We mentioned this before, knowing your why. I just mentioned about, really the number one killer in this business or any business, but especially in this one is, not having a clear vision for what you want in your life. it's a powerful question. What do you want? You know, if I was to stop you, you know, catch you off guard and just ask you, hey, hey, Mary, what do you want? You know, would you be able to tell me very clearly what you want? You know, this is very important to be able to really start to get that. And it might take time. It might take time for you to really think about what you want. A lot of you maybe haven't really started to dream or haven't had a chance to dream since you were a kid, but you can do that here. And I think that's the last one. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to wrap up by giving you a story, and then we're going to take a 10-minute break. And then the incredible Kirsten Barron, executive marketing director, is going to come back to teach part two. So let me take a quick sip. This story ties into the dreams and goals. So I'm going to stop sharing so you guys can see me a little bit better. I know the lighting in here isn't great, but so I'm a brand new associate, right? I signed my AMA back in 2015, and about 2-3 months later, my senior marketing director tells me, hey, we've got a big event. We've got a convention coming up in Las Vegas. It's a 3-day, thing. It costs $200 to register, and get your hotel. Maybe you can share a room if you need to keep costs down, but you got to come to this big event. And I'm like, man, I don't know. It's over a weekend. I'm a DJ. I make my money on the weekend, so not only do I have to pay and register for this event, but now I gotta miss out on 3 gigs that weekend. My income, all this stuff. But being a good coach, he didn't really let me kind of give him those excuses, and he said, look, man, I can't force you to come, but if you want my advice on what's going to give you the best chance to succeed, you got to come see the bigness of what we're doing. You got to come to this event. So I did. I invested the time and the money to go to the event, and it was an eye opener. It was incredible because of some of the people I heard speak and what they've been able to do here. I started to really dream again. I started to think, what if this was my shot? What if I could actually get rich doing this thing? I remember having that exact feeling. And so at the end of the event, I'm sitting in the back of the car of my senior marketing director. His name's Ryan. He's still one of my great mentors and friends to this day. And he asked me the most important question probably anybody's ever asked me in my life. He said, Klinger, if you could succeed here and really start to make some big money, what big dream would you want to make happen in your life? And I thought about it for a moment. My dad had just passed away about a year and a half earlier. That was a tough time for, myself, my sister, my mom. And so it was really just the 4 of us. And then my dad passed away. My sister was now starting her own family. And so it was my mom, my sister, and me. And my mom and sister always wanted to go to Italy. They just always wanted a chance to go to Italy, and they had never been there. So I just said, hey, if I could take my mom and sister to Italy for a nice dream trip, that would be amazing. And he said, really? Tell me a little bit more about it. So I just kind of told him, and he said, do you really want to give yourself a chance to make that happen? I said, yeah. He said, call your mom or your sister right now and tell them that you're gonna take them to Italy. And I said, really? And he said, yeah. He's like, set yourself a date, right? Be specific. When do you want to make that happen? And I think it was a year and a half or 2 years. So I set a date, and he said, call one of them right now and tell them you're going to do that. You're going to make it happen. Hold yourself accountable. And thankfully, I was coachable enough and maybe crazy enough to do that. I called my sister. She answered. I told her, and she was very supportive, but she probably was thinking oh man, Ben went to this event with this new business. He drank the Kool-Aid. They got him. They told him he can do this and that and all this stuff. It's probably what she's thinking. But I'm blessed. I have a very supportive family. So she said, "Oh, I'm so happy you found a cool opportunity. I'd love to go to Italy, right?" And so here we go. A year and a half goes by, or 2 years or whatever, and my business hadn't really grown as fast as I had hoped. And I kind of started to let go of that dream. Oh, maybe they'll forget I told, maybe my sister will forget I told her. You ever do that? You kind of set a goal, but you don't really go 100% in. You don't really tell people because it's like, if it doesn't happen, you let yourself off the hook, right? You give yourself an out. Well, I had already said it, right? And I really believe in being a person of your word. And I was like, man, no, I can't let that go. And so here's what I did to hold myself accountable one more time is now I had, my sister's daughter, my niece, and I think at the time she was 5 or 6 years old. I said, hey, Uncle Ben's going to take you to Italy. And she's like, really? They had just learned about it in school or something. And so I doubled down on that goal. And, less than a year later, I was able to buy 7 round trip tickets to Italy because my sister's husband had to come. And now they had a son, my nephew. And now I had a girlfriend, right? So it's like 7 of us had to go. So I got 7 round trip tickets. We took a 2-week trip to Italy. It was an incredible experience. My family still talks about it all the time, and it didn't take me that long, right? I didn't have to build a business for 10 years here to make a dream like that happen. So when I say that your biggest dreams and goals can come true here, I'm a living testament to it. And now we've got bigger ones, right? We've got the next one, but the feeling that came from being able to make that happen and provide that experience for the people that I love is just second to none. So I really encourage you guys to hold on to some type of a dream that is going to just make you feel incredible, and just do the work, follow through, and take inspired action to make it happen. And with this business model, you can't fail if you're just doing the steps we talked about. So with that, we're going to take just a 10-minute break. It's 9:49 Pacific time right now. So please be back here by 9:59, right? 10 minutes. Go to the bathroom, get some water, whatever you got to do. I'm telling you, part 2 is probably going to be better, and Kirsten is probably a way better presenter than me. I've learned a tremendous amount from her. She's incredible. So thank you guys. It's been a great pleasure to teach part 1 of Fast Start School. I really appreciate your attention. And I'm really excited. We've got a great class here, and I'm excited for you, for what's next here in your life and in your business. So we'll see you right back here in 10 minutes on the dot for part 2. Thank you all.
All right. Well, welcome back. I am super excited to be with you guys for Fast Start School Part 2. It is going to be awesome. And we have a lot of things to cover, a lot of things that I want to share with you, and not a ton of time. So I am going to be moving a little bit quickly. So, make sure that you're on it. Again, I would highly recommend that you take notes, because many of these things you're going to want to be able to refer back to. But we get to talk about, in this half of Fast Start School, our compensation and really how to build a business here. So if you have been wondering, how do I actually make money here? How does the compensation work? All that good stuff. That's what we're going to be covering here. So before I jump right into it, I'll briefly tell you my 2-minute story. Some of you guys have heard it, especially if you were at the New Year kickoff event, but it's been now 11 years since I signed my associate membership agreement and joined WFG. And at the time, I was working as a social worker in the Department of Los Angeles. And that's what I got my degree in school, but quickly saw that it really wasn't going to get me to my dream life. And so there comes a point in our lives where we have to ask ourselves, is what I'm doing now going to get me to where I want to be? And for me, that answer was no, because I went into social work because I wanted to help people, love working with kids. But I also knew that long term, I wanted to be in a position where I could have complete financial freedom. I could have control of my time. When I started a family with kids, I wanted to have the freedom to raise my kids at home. I didn't want to have to put them in a daycare and things like that. And so I understood that I needed some type of vehicle or business to be able to allow me to do that. And I'm so grateful. At the time I started here part-time. I was part-time for my first couple of years, and then I was eventually able to leave my full-time job with the county and come here full-time. And this business has truly given me and my husband Lester our dream life. We travel all the time. I think last year we traveled just about every single month. We were going somewhere, and I love to travel. I love to see new places, experience new things. We have a team growing all over the country. We're going to Houston, Texas again in a couple weeks and to grow, to help our team out there. And it's just fun. You know, this business is fun. It's fulfilling. Yes, it's hard work. Yes, you're going to go through adversity. And yes, sometimes, you know, there's challenges with, because we're in a people business. And so the first thing that I'll say is that, remember, the business model itself, so the system, everything that Ben talked about in the first half, the system, it's a perfect system. What makes it challenging is that we're dealing with people, and people are not perfect. Does that make sense? So never get frustrated with the system. The system works, right? It's the people sometimes. And that's why you got to be mentally tough and have a long-term vision, because you're going to see a lot of people. There's a lot of starters, but there's not a lot of finishers. And you got to understand that. But enough people will run with you, and enough people will finish to help you get to your dreams, as well as helping them get to their dreams. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. I'm super excited. This stuff is going to be good. Like Ben, this is my favorite class to teach, and it gets me fired up and resells me the dream every time. So let's go ahead and get started. So what matters most is how you see yourself, right? You might be a cute little kitten, but what matters is that when you look in the mirror, you see a fierce lion, right? So you got to believe in yourself, right? Who wants change? Everybody wants change. Just look at, you know, the news, social media. It seems like people are always pointing their fingers at other people. Oh, it's this person's fault. It's this, you know, leader's fault. It's that, right? But if you ask the tougher question, who wants to change? Very different story. So the purpose of this is to understand that if you want your life to change, it doesn't start with other people. It starts with you. You got to take personal responsibility for what you want your life to look like, because playing as a victim allows you to stay stuck where you are and not grow and be the person that you can be. So having a victim mindset, and a victim mindset is always pointing the fingers at other people and saying that it's other people's faults, it's my circumstances' fault, it's all of that, why I'm not winning or why I'm not where I'm at. It gives you the excuse to not try and to not overcome those challenges and to not take action. So one of the key foundations, if you want to be successful in life, is that it starts with changing yourself, changing how you think, changing your habits, and deciding that you're going to create the life that you want for yourself. And success is not always what you see. We live in a very consumer-driven society where we're very much about, you know, buying things, luxuries, and oftentimes wealth and riches is defined by the material things that you have. But the reality is, and what I love in this business, is that it teaches you that that's not the truth, right? Because success isn't always what you see. And you might see someone that looks like they have it all together on the outside because they have a very luxurious lifestyle, but you don't know what's really going on, right? They could be in tons of debt. They could have no peace of mind because they're trying to maintain this lifestyle. So you just never know. This is what people think success looks like. It's just a straight incline up. But if you've made any progress in this business, you understand that's not the case, right? So you feel like you're going up, and then what happens? You know, something happens, a challenge happens. So it actually looks more like this, okay? And here's some famous failures. So again, these are great examples of people who took personal responsibility for where they wanted to be in life. Michael Jordan, he was cut from his high school basketball team. I don't know if you knew that. And he's Michael Jordan. Albert Einstein wasn't able to speak until he was almost 4 years old. People thought that he was actually like, he was slow in his head, like he would never be able to speak or to do anything. And he's Albert Einstein. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. Can you imagine that? Walt Disney. So again, what this is illustrating is that if you've never failed, you've never tried anything new, because failure is a part of the success journey. Okay, so, and by the way, it's only failure if you give up and if you quit. So I tell everybody in this business is that you're going to make mistakes, right? You're going to do things wrong. We all do, and we all did. But the reason why we haven't failed, quote unquote, is because we didn't give up. So quitting on yourself is the only kind of failure that you're going to experience here. So the new Think About It 90-day challenge, results are guaranteed. You ever have someone been on an appointment and someone says, oh, I need to think about it, right? Anyone said that for yourself? Maybe when you came on board, you're like, I need to think about it, okay? So results are guaranteed before and after, okay? So again, thinking about stuff doesn't change anything, right? Action changes things, right? So that's the point of this slide. So we have the power to choose. So everything in this business is a choice. It was a choice for you to decide that you are going to do what it takes to make it into this class. And even when you qualified, it was your choice to decide that you were going to attend the class. Because believe it or not, sometimes we have people that qualify and they don't show up to the class. That is their choice. Okay. So again, going back to that personal responsibility. So you are never going to be forced to do anything in this business. Everything that's presented to you, it is 100% your choice if you're going to buy into it and do it or not. So there are two primary choices or choices in life: accept conditions as they exist, or accept the responsibility for changing them. And every choice you make has an end result. Okay. So sometimes people say, well, I don't have a choice, because they don't like the options, right? So I'll give you a very quick example. We had someone on our team that we were really pushing to get qualified for this class, and they were super close, but at the end of the day, they were giving pushback in certain areas, in some of the things, one of them becoming a client. And we're like, look, you know, how can you do something if you don't own it yourself? How are you going to talk to other people about this product if you don't believe in it for yourself, and you wouldn't, you know, invest in it for yourself? There's a disconnect there, right? And so even though we did everything we could to pour into this person and to help them understand why they should qualify to be in this class, at the end of the day, they chose not to do that, right? And so we had to have the conversation like, okay, like if you decide not to do these things, you're not going to be able to go to Fast Start School. And then they were like, well, so you're saying I have to do that to go in the class? And I'm like, no, you don't have to do anything. Our standard is that if you want to be in this class, these are our standards. And it's your choice if you're going to buy into the standards that we have set for our business or not. Everything is a choice, okay? And remember, even if you're on the right track, you'll get run over if you stand still. So you got to be moving, you got to be taking action, okay? All right, let me move through this. Oh, let me go back real quick. So crusade, one of the things you're going to hear us talk about a lot is what we call the crusade. And the dictionary defines a crusade as a vigorous concerted movement for a cause or against an abuse. So our crusade here in WFG is to help people. It's the cause of helping people create financial independence and to fight against the abuse of the traditional financial industry. So the more that you get out in the field, and the more people that you meet and the more situations you see, you're going to see more examples of people who have been wronged by the financial industry. They've been put into products that are not right for them, or they have products that they don't even understand and it's not the best option for them. You're going to see that happen quite often, and that's why getting out in the field is so important, because it's going to take the business from your head to your heart when you really see what we're able to do for families. Okay. All right. So let's get into the good stuff, as I know many of you were waiting for. So we are going to first start by talking about compensation. So who saw Jerry Maguire, right? What did he say? Show me the what? You got
money.
There we go.
Money.
Show me the money. That's right.
Woo!
All right, let's get into it. So we get paid many different ways, but the only way we get paid is by helping people with our products and services. That's where the pay comes from. So compensation. So understanding the way our compensation works, 1 point equals $1. So if you're on the Line app and you see, you know, us shouting out someone, or, you know, someone says, oh, I wrote 4,000 points. Every point represents $1. So that means that they wrote $4,000 in premium. Okay. So the way that we calculate that is, if let's say you're writing up an index universal life policy, okay, a cash value insurance policy for a client, you take their monthly premium and you times it by 12, and that tells you how many points you wrote. So if I help a client and they're doing $300 a month into a policy, 300 times 12 is $3,600, right? That's how much they would put in for the year. That means I wrote 3,600 points. So that is the measurement that we use to calculate production. Everyone good on that? All right. Now, what if I do a rollover? Okay. So if I come across a client who, let's say, has $100,000 in an old 401k, and I'm going to roll it over into an annuity, which you can do with your life license, your first license. What we do is we take the total amount of money that you're rolling over you times it. In this example, it's 0.045, but it's usually a little bit higher than that. It's usually 0.055 or 0.06. And so it just depends on the product, okay? So the specific product that the money is going into will determine what that exact percentage is, but that's like a low average, okay? So you times it by, so you times the total amount that you're moving by that percentage, and that'll give you the points. That's where we get this 4,500 points. So if I do a $100,000 rollover, I'm writing about 4,500 points. And that's, so the points is what we are compensated off of. So this is where your commissions come from based on your level, which we'll go into on the next slide, okay? All right, so the first way that you could get paid here is by your personal production. So when you get licensed, that's going to be the first way that you're going to start making money. Now, the thing about personal production is that it's available by most companies. If you got licensed with any other insurance company outside of WFG, you're going to be able to get compensated by your personal production, by the clients that you are helping with policies and accounts. However, the difference is with other companies is that there's no 100% advance. So what do I mean by that? In WFG, when you help a client with a product, okay, let's say you wrote them up a policy, you get, remember, we're getting paid off of what the client is projected to put into that policy for the whole year. You guys remember that? So we get paid our commissions 40% upfront on submission of the policy. So what that means is that we get 40% of our commission, okay, before we even know if the client's going to be approved for the policy or not, okay? And then the rest of the 60% of our commission we get once the client is approved, okay? So you get the full 100% of your commission upfront. Because, and the reason why we have such a great compensation is because our company has such a great reputation with these product providers. Because if you go to other insurance companies, they don't pay out that way. Some companies, they pay you as earned. What that means is that they're only going to pay you a little bit each month for the first year, instead of giving it all to you up front. Does that make sense? So you get paid 40% of your commission on submission of the policy, and then the rest of the 60% comes after the policy is approved and accepted by the client. So one other thing that you might see with other insurance companies or other firms is that they provide higher personal commission. But with that, there's always a cost, whether that's no support, no system, no building of a business, and no ownership. So you got to remember that you are not here to be a life insurance agent, okay? You're not even here to be a financial advisor. Yes, that's how we help people, and that's a big part of what we do, but you are here to build a business, okay? If you just wanted to be a financial advisor, you could go to other companies where they're going to give you a super high contract, and you could be a great financial advisor, but guess what? You're not going to have ownership. You're not going to be able to build a team, so you're going to be in the business of selling, and having to meet quotas that they put on you. Because if you don't perform, guess what's going to happen? They're going to, right? They're going to kick you off the team. They're going to fire you. And so remember, you are here to build a business. Okay. All right, let's keep going. So getting paid by your personal production. So if you are a trainee and you do not have your license yet, how much money do you make? Nada, right? Zip, nothing, zero. You must be licensed to get paid and to make money. So how important is it to get licensed? Well, do you want to make money here? If the answer is yes,
important. Very important.
Absolutely. Thank you. So if you want to make money here, you got to have a license. So that has got to be one of your top focuses, and to do it quickly, okay? You don't want to lag it out because you're going to be in the field, you're going to be helping families. We want you to get that done quickly so that you can start reaping the benefits of that quickly, okay? So get licensed. Now, once you're licensed, the first level that everybody starts out as is as a training associate, which means you're at a 25% contract. So if we go back to my first example of helping a client save $300 a month into a policy, which is how many points? See if you guys remember.
3,600.
So that's 3,600 points. So you take that number and you times it by whatever contract level you're at. So if I'm a training associate, which means I'm at a 25% contract, and I write 3,600 points, I'm going to get paid $900, because 3,600 times 25% is 900. So that's my commission. Okay. Now we don't want you to stay there. Now, by the way, that's not bad, right? Helping one client make $900, like that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Like a
that's,
couple
that's
hours
good.
of work, not too shabby. Now, of course, we don't want you to stay there though. We want you to get promoted, because if you get promoted, your contract goes up, meaning you'll make more money doing the same amount of work. So when you get promoted to associate, you're going to have a 10% increase in contract. So you're now going to be at a 35% contract. Whoops, go back, which means helping the same client, writing 3,600 points, you're going to make $1,260. Okay, because you're at a higher contract. So that's only a 10% increase in contract, but it's actually a 40% increase in pay. Now, how do I get to associate? How do I go from training associate to associate? You do something called 3-3-30. Okay, some of you maybe have already done that, or you're on track to doing that. So what does 3-3-30 mean? I get 3 new business partners on board direct to me, and I help 3 families or submit 3 sales, and I do that in a 30-day window. Once you do that, we'll bump you up to an associate level. Okay? Now after
quick
that,
question.
yes.
Yeah, does that mean a closed sale or you opened a contract?
So that means you close the sale. So you helped a person with a policy, so you submitted it. So it's in underwriting. You don't have to wait for it to get approved. It's the submission of the policy. So you close.
Okay, so submission of policy is the qualifier, not the closed policy. Okay.
Right, yeah. When you close in the field and someone says, yes, I'll get this policy, and then you submit it to the company, you helped a family. Cool? All right, so next level is senior associate. Now, when you're at a senior associate level, you get bumped up to a 45% contract, and that makes you $1,620, still helping the same family, okay? And then there's marketing director, which puts you at a 50% contract. So writing 3,600 points will make you $1,800, right? And then finally, there's senior marketing director. So the first job is to do what? Do your 3-3-30, okay? That's the first job. Once you get there, then we're going to coach you on how to get to the next levels, right? But that's the first thing you got to get done. And by the way, you don't have to do it in 30 days. You can do it in a week. If you're like, well, I want to get to the highest level as quickly as possible, I don't want to wait 30 days. That's just the window we give you to get it done. But you could do it, as quickly as you want to. It's just got to be within 30 days, right? So you only have 2 jobs in this business. The first job is to hit senior marketing director, and we're going to talk about why that's so important a little bit later, okay? So why do you want to be a senior marketing director? Well, the first reason is that you'll be at the highest contract level, okay? You'll be at a 65% contract. So at a senior marketing director level, writing 3,600 points pays you $2,340 versus the $900 if you're a training associate, right? That's why most senior marketing directors or SMDs earn between $70K up to under $1 million a year. There's senior marketing directors in our company making 7 figures, okay? So how do I get to SMD? Well, the first step, the most important thing, is having 10 licensed agents on your team, okay? So that's the most important thing you want to focus on first. You want to focus on growing your licenses. How do you grow your licenses? Is by growing your team. The more people you're bringing on board, the more people you're able to help get licensed, okay? Then you do, between you and your team, you do a total of 75,000 net points in 3 months. So in a rolling 3 months, between you and your team, you get to write 75,000 points, right? And by the way, make $35,000, okay? So those are the main points that you want to hit when you are running for that SMD title. Okay, now let's go into number 2, trails and residual income. So the second way that we get paid here is by money or assets under management, okay? So one of the options that you have here on this platform is to get your securities license. When you get your securities license, you're going to be able to help manage people's money, meaning that if someone invests money with you in something like a mutual fund, IRAs, different things like that, all the money that you have invested that they have in those accounts that are under your management, that's going to pay you trails and residual income every single year, okay? So let's say of all the clients that I have, all the money that they have invested in me totals $10 million, okay? We get paid about 0.6% in residuals off of that. So that means if I have $10 million under management, I'm making about $60,000 a year in residual income. Pretty cool, right? Now, what if I do my job, which is helping my clients grow their money? So when their money is invested in an account, it's not just sitting there, it's earning interest and it's growing. So if the money that I have under management doubles to 20 million, that's $120,000 in residual income that's coming in every single year from no new clients that I'm bringing on board. That's just pure residual income, okay? So there are many ways to make 100K in this platform. This is one of them. So just like how I mentioned, you're here to build a business. Well, if you're like, well, I love the financial advising part, I want to do that. I want to have a bunch of money under management. Guess what? You could do that and make really, really good residual income, okay? Now, next one, renewals and residual income. So renewals are insurance products, ongoing compensation, okay? So here's an example. If I have 1,000 clients that have IULs with me, WFG is going to pay me $60 a year in residual income per client. Now, if I have one client, that's $60 a year. That's not super exciting. But again, what if I have 1,000 clients? That's $60,000 a year of residual income. And you only need a life license for that, right? So not only do you want to help your clients with our products and services, you want them to stay your clients, because the people that stay your clients are going to continue to pay you every single year, right? What if I had 2,000 clients? That's $120,000 a year in residual income. Okay. Next one. Back. All right. So remember I said you only have 2 jobs to complete in this business. The first one is what? To hit SMD, Senior Marketing Director. The second job is to promote Senior Marketing Directors. So if you could summarize everything that we do into 2 outcomes, it's that right there. It's I got to get to SMD as quickly as I can, and then the rest of my career, I'm focused on what? Helping other people get to SMD. That's the business, and I'm going to talk about why. So everything that I've talked about so far is when it comes to compensation, you can find that in the traditional industry. Everything we're going to talk about now moving forward is unique to WFG, okay? This is where the game changer stuff happens. We go here. Okay, so next way, overrides, right? So overrides. Overrides are unique to our platform. This is not common in the industry. So there's something called overrides that we get paid, okay? So this is how it works. Let's say, same example, helping a client $300 a month into a policy, that's 3,600 points, right? So you guys understand that a big part of our business is recruiting, right? Recruiting and building a team. This is the why it's important. So let me go through this. So here we have all the levels, right? Training associate, associate, senior associate, and marketing director. Let's say that, let me use an example. All right, let's say Timothy. All right, so Timothy is a marketing director, okay? So let's say Timothy is a marketing director and Aaron is on Timothy's team, right? So let's say Aaron is a training associate, a licensed training associate. So Timothy recruits Aaron and he's like, all right, Aaron, I believe in you. I'm going to teach you this business. You're going to be awesome, right? So Timothy takes Aaron out on some field trainings. Aaron gets licensed, all that good stuff. Aaron now, he's trained and he's ready to go help his first client on his own, okay? So Timothy is not on the appointment with him. He's like, you're good, go fly, right? And so Aaron goes out and he helps his first client all by himself and he writes 3,600 points, right? Yay, Aaron, everybody give it up for Aaron. Now, how much is Aaron gonna pay? Aaron is a training associate. How much is he gonna make writing 3,600 points?
$900.
$900.
$900, right? Everyone good on that? Now, how much though is Timothy gonna make? Timothy is gonna make this number right here, $1,080. Now, you're like, wait a minute, Timothy didn't do anything though, right? Aaron went out, he did the appointment by himself, he closed by himself, right? He did all of that, so he makes his full commission. Why does Timothy also get paid? That's what you call an override, okay? That's an override. So we get paid overrides based on the production of our team. And the override is the difference in contracts. So the reason why he made $1,080 is because Timothy is a marketing director. So the difference between his contract and what Aaron is getting paid is where that number comes from. You guys see that? So let me ask you something. Does Timothy have an incentive to help Aaron make money quickly?
Yes.
Sure
Yeah,
do.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Does Aaron have an incentive to get out there and start building his own team and help them make money quickly?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, as well.
Right? This is what I love about our system, is that it truly is a win-win system, okay? Because the reason why we talk about recruiting, why we talk about expanding your business, building your team, is because the more productive, licensed people that I can have on my team that know how to go out there and help families, the more passive income I'm creating for myself. And then the beauty is, though, is that you can do the same. You don't have to be a senior marketing director to get overrides, right? In this example, Timothy was a marketing director. Let's say he was a senior associate. Let's say he was an associate. He would still make, how much of an override would he make on Aaron? That is $360. Is that pretty cool? You're like, that's awesome. My teammate got his, right, helped a client on his own, made his first check, and I got paid a little bit too. That's awesome. I gotta help more people make money, right? So that's what an override is. So now the second type of override, it's another example, the same one. Now the second type of override is an SMD override, okay? So as we just talked about, when you are, when you're in the base shop, meaning you're not a senior marketing director yet, you can still override your team, right? But what happens once you do get to senior marketing director, okay? So I'll use me and Lester, for example, right? So we're senior marketing directors, but we also have senior marketing directors on our team. Now, when we promote a senior marketing director, they're at the same contract level as us, right? So we're both at a 65% contract. What's 65 minus 65? 0. So in the traditional business industry, so this is the issue with the traditional industry. Teresa Tang Wong, for those of you who are at our New Year kickoff event, she talked about this because she had an insurance agency that she built on her own and left it all to join WFG and start from scratch as a training associate. Why did she do that? For this reason right here. Because she would recruit and build a team and help her people get licensed. They would decide they want to go out and start their own office because she's the owner, and they would leave her team, go open another office, take everything that she poured into them, everything that she taught them, and go take it and start their own business and create competition for her, right?
And she got nothing in return.
She lost her business, right? She lost her teammates. So that's how the traditional industry works. So in WFG, we still override our senior marketing directors. So they built this in our system so I can help you get to my level, but it's not going to hurt me because I will still override your business 10 to 17% for the rest of my life. So remember when I said you only had 2 jobs? Hit senior marketing director, and then what? Help a bunch of people get to senior marketing director. So what does that look like in the numbers? Well, if you have an SMD on your team that's doing about 30,000 points a month in production, which is average, let's say you override that on average 12%, that's $3,600 you're making in passive income each month, just from overriding one senior marketing director. Now, let me ask you something. What would you have to do outside of WFG to create $3,600 a month in purely passive income? Right?
Don't know.
I know one, real estate, right? You could go buy a real estate property, get some renters, okay? But what does that cost? Once you buy the property, you got a mortgage now, right? You're still responsible for the place. Now, when you're charging people rent, it's just enough to cover your mortgage. So you're really not making a profit, really, until the house is completely paid off. Now you actually have a real profit, right? Or you can come in WFG, hit SMD, and help someone else hit SMD. And this way's more, in my opinion, more rewarding and a lot more fun, right? So what if you have an SMD that's kind of kicking butt? They're doing about 50,000 points a month on average. That's $6,000 of passive income that's getting paid to you as the overriding SMD. If they're doing 70,000 points, that's $8,400. If they're doing 100,000 points, that's $12,000. You get paid that month in overrides. And by the way, that's just overriding your SMD. You still have your base shop that you're overriding as well, like we talked about in our first example. Do you see why people make the kind of money they make in our business? On top of the residual income, on top of the renewals, on top of your personal production. Imagine that. Imagine if you had 3 SMDs on your team doing that. Pretty amazing. Now, what happens though, when your senior marketing director promotes their own senior marketing director? So for me and Lester, Rose is direct to us. Rose is one of our senior marketing directors. Then she promoted Antoinette Moran to senior marketing director. So how much does Rose override Antoinette? What percentage?
10 to 17%.
Absolutely, right? Let's say 12% on average, okay? How much do we override Antoinette now?
10 to
5%.
17%.
5%, okay? Now, why is it less? Because there's a level of leadership in between us. We didn't have to invest the kind of time into Antoinette because Antoinette had Rose. Does that make sense? So the farther it goes down, the smaller the override gets. Isn't that fair? Why should I override Antoinette the same as Rose when Rose was really the one that, yes, we helped her too because she's on our team, but Rose is her direct leader. So she was working with Rose directly. Does that make sense? So that keeps going for 6 generations. So you can override 6 generations of senior marketing directors from you. After that, it stops. You no longer receive overrides on anything else that comes from that, which makes sense because by that point, do I even know who that person is at the bottom of the leg? Probably not, right? I see their name on my reports on my WFG, but I probably don't have a personal relationship with them because they have levels of leadership behind them, right? So that's how the overrides work, okay? So imagine having a team of multiple senior marketing directors direct to you, but they also have their own senior marketing directors. What would that look like for your life? To have that kind of team growing, what could you do with that kind of business, right? It's pretty awesome. Next way that we get paid, national overrides, okay? Now, honestly, this we really don't do anymore because since the pandemic, now we're on Zoom. So prior to that, prior to us doing everything on Zoom, we actually did everything in person. We would see clients in person. We would do training appointments in person. Our trainings like this would actually happen in our physical office. So before the pandemic, you had to be connected to an office in your local area to get trained. So what would happen if I'm here in California and let's say my cousin lives in Georgia and I'm trying to recruit my cousin? What I would do is I would utilize the MAP program where I would map him to a local office in his area where he will go to get mentorship and train. And I will keep 25% of the business and the overrides and map the 75% to the leader that's going to be working with him. Okay, so that's the MAP program. So now we don't really do that anymore because again, we're virtual, so we can train people everywhere, but it's still an option that's out there. Sometimes you have, once in a while, you come across someone who maybe needs to be in person. They want to have, local leadership. That's an option. You can map them to an office in their local area. But then on top of that, what we still utilize are international overrides with the MAP program internationally. So Lester and I, here's the cool thing. We now have a business growing in Canada, okay? Now, Canada is a completely different country. Different currency, different products, okay? So if I recruit someone in Canada, I can't train them virtually, okay? They speak a different language over there, not literally, but a different financial language because their system is different. It's a different country. So what we did is we mapped that person to a local office in their area. And now we get 25% of all the overrides of our team growing in Canada. So you want to know what's cool? Now we get checks mailed to us, Canadian checks for our overrides from our team growing in Canada. And so now we get to say we have an international business. Is that pretty awesome? And so now we got to go, and we're still trying to figure it out because it's not direct deposit. Since it's in a different country, they have to mail you the physical checks. So we have to go open a Canadian bank account so we can deposit it, right? So it's pretty awesome. And in Puerto Rico. So if you know people in Puerto Rico or Canada, you can still bring them onto your team utilizing the MAP program, okay? Next way we get paid is something called a bonus pool. That's where you get to participate in the company's profits. Every single month, WFG pays out bonuses to the field. Every month, okay? When was the last time you worked at a place where you got a bonus every single month? For me, never happened until I came here, okay? So if you're an average senior marketing director and you're doing at least 25,000 points a month and 3 base recruits, which is like nothing, right? You'll get a part of the company profits, which is about anywhere from about $1,000 to a couple $1,000 bonus every single month you do that. So they're going to pay you for doing your job, right? And then, but that's not the only bonus that we get. We also have a base shop quarterly bonus. So not only do we have the monthly bonuses that get paid out to the field, but every quarter they have another bonus that they pay out to the field, where the top 500 SMDs doing at least 100,000 base points per quarter, which is what, about 30-something thousand points a month, receive a share of $750,000 bonus pool. So on top of the monthly bonuses, on top of the overrides, on top of the SMD overrides, the residual income, your personal production, every quarter WFG pays $750,000 to the field in bonuses. Is that wild? Do you see how much opportunity there is out there? Let me ask you something. Are you getting your unfair share? There's a lot of money out there, okay? Are you getting your unfair share of it? If not, let's make that happen, because there's too much out there, right? It's crazy. But guess what? We're still not done. On top of the monthly bonus and the quarterly bonus, there's something called a super base bonus. I'm not making this up. This is what you're a part of, okay? So Lester and I, we get paid by our personal production because we are always helping families, right? And we're field training, we're building a team. So personal production, we get paid. We get paid our base shop overrides. We've promoted SMDs, several SMDs. We get SMD overrides. We get the monthly base shop bonus. We also qualify for the quarterly bonus as well. We have residual income. We have assets under management. We also get something called the super base bonus pool. So remember, what is your super base? It's when you promote an SMD and then your SMD promotes an SMD under them. That's called your super base, okay? So our super base, when you promote an SMD, so we get more bonuses, all right? The number changes each month, and this is monthly. So not only we get a monthly base shop bonus, but we also get a monthly super base bonus because we've promoted SMDs on our team. So do we have an incentive to help to continue to invest time into developing our own SMDs? Absolutely. It's a win-win system. Powerful. And we're still not done. There's more. Wait, there's more. Okay, then there's something called the reinsurance program, okay? That's getting into the company's book of business, which is pretty wild. So once you reach a certain level, you have the opportunity to become part owner in Transamerica's book of business and policies owned, where you also get paid of a percentage of all the revenue that's coming into Transamerica's book of business. Massive, right? That's another way. And then, wait, there's more. Then there's ownership. So this is why it's so important to become a senior marketing director, is because that's where ownership starts. That's where you actually own your business, okay? You become immediately vested with the company. You own your code number. So remember that code number that you have? Once you hit SMD, you own it. So what does that mean? If you own something, what can I do with it? I can sell it. I can pass it down to my children. And that's what you can do with your WFG business. Who on here has kids? Is it important for you to create some kind of legacy for your children? I would say it is for most parents, right? Imagine if you can invest your time into something like this, build a business that's gonna generate residual and passive income for the rest of your life. And imagine being able to pass that legacy down to your children. All they got to do is what? When they turn 18, come on board, get their license, and you can transfer everything under your children. Is that pretty wild? Talk about creating legacy. A lot of people talk about, you know, they want to leave a house for their kids, things like that. Well, imagine leaving a business that's only going to increase over time because it just keeps going, right? That's the power of the platform. If Lester and I decided that we wanted to sell our agent ID, we could do that. We could go to WFG. Well, first we could go to Rudy. He's our upline. We could say, hey, Rudy, you know what? We decided we're going to retire early. We're going to go back to Dominica. That's where our families are from, and just live off of the land. And we want to sell our business to you. Or we could go to WFG and do that. We could sell it to WFG. And we can, and we'll probably get a few million for it, right? How much do you think our business is worth? Okay, a 10+ year business with SMDs and all of that in our book of business, a few million. Today, I could go and we could sell our business for a few $1 million and retire. Now, why would I do that? Okay, the answer is I would never do that. What's going to happen with our business? It's going to what? Is it going to stay stagnant or is it going to keep growing? It's going to keep growing because we're in a people business and we have leaders on our team. You think if we stop, you think Rose Macias is going to stop? You think Antoinette Moran is going to stop? We have a guy on our team, his name is Nathan Smith, Nathan and Bethany Smith. You think they're going to stop? Of course not, because they're senior marketing directors and they have their own team. You guys see that? It's powerful. Okay. And then there's also trips. Who loves to travel? Okay. I love to travel. Okay. I love experiencing new places, getting on a plane, going places. And so when you do well here, you also get to have a lot of fun and get to be recognized by all expense paid vacations. Hawaii is something that WFG does every year. Lester and I, we've been to Hawaii. This will be our 7th time in a couple of weeks. We're going on the trip in February on Valentine's Day is when we leave. And that will be our 7th WFG paid for trip to Hawaii. All expenses paid, okay? We've been to Mexico multiple times. Cancun, all the major spots. Cancun, Cabo, what's the other one? Puerto Vallarta, right? All those spots. Been to Vancouver, Canada. Been to, where else have we gone with the company? Panama, that was something we did for our own team. We took our team, we did a contest to Panama to see the Panama Canal. And then we also did one to the Dominican Republic a couple years ago, right? And our teammates had a contest where they could get that trip paid for. So when you're doing well and doing all these things, you have the opportunity to go on a trip. By the way, the one we have going on right now is what? The trip to South Carolina. So if you qualify for that trip at the highest tier, you could get $1,500 reimbursed towards you and your trip to go on that trip to Hilton Head, South Carolina with the team and hang out with the top leaders in the team. Would that be awesome? So amazing. So that is how we get paid. All right. So I hope your vision is stretched. You're probably like, oh my gosh, it's so much. It's overwhelming. Right. Remember, being overwhelmed is a choice. Okay. But that is what you're a part of, right? You are a part of something bigger. So why settle when you can literally achieve your dreams in this platform? Okay. Now we're going to shift and we're going to now continue talking about the system and how to get you. So everything that I talk about, you're like, okay, all of that sounds great. How does that happen for me? How do I get there? How do I get to SMD? How do I get to participate in all those bonus pools, right? How do I do it? Now we're going to talk about the how to, okay? So the first step in that how to is understanding what we call the exchange principles. So the exchange principles is another part of what makes our platform unique. So there's several of them. There's 5 total. So the first one is the personal sale exchange. So to qualify to be in this class, we asked you, give me 1 second. My husband just put on the heat. It's too hot. Too hot. Turn it off. Okay, so the first one is your personal sale exchange. So when you came into this, to qualify to be in this class, one of the standards that we had is to is to do your own personal financial needs analysis with your upline or your senior marketing director and was to become a client. That's called the personal sale exchange. So in the traditional business, okay, if you go to thank you. If you go to A traditional insurance company. Baby, can you please close my door? Thank you. So when you go to a traditional insurance company, okay, one of the things that they do is they allow you to write your own sale, okay? Meaning that once I get licensed, if I need a policy, I'll just write the policy on myself. So in our business, we don't do that, right? You go to the person who recruited you or your senior marketing director, and they write you up for a policy. Everyone clear on that? That's called a personal sale exchange. Now, why do we do that? Because do you want a one-time benefit or do you want an unlimited benefit? If I write my own sale, guess what every single person I recruit on my team is going to do? Write their own sale, right? Versus if I allow my trainer or my senior marketing director to help me and write up my policies, okay, because I'm the client now, guess what every single person now on my team, I'm going to have the moral authority to do is to help them become a client. So you give it up one time to receive it an unlimited amount of times. A big part of our system is internal consumption. That's part of where your production is going to come from. So when you're recruiting someone, not only are you helping them get licensed, but you're helping them with our products and services. So that's part of your personal production. Everyone clear on that? That's a personal sale exchange. Second one is the market exchange, okay? So the market exchange means when you come into this business, we ask you to put together a list, and then a trainer is taking you out into your market, your warm market. That's called the market exchange because you are leveraging someone with experience and credibility to help you get results with the people that you know. Because the reality is that the people you know trust you, but you don't have credibility with them yet, right? Because you are not a financial expert yet, or at least that's not how they see you. And so you get to leverage someone with that credibility and utilize your trust to help you still get results, help the people that are closest to you, and still get experience out in the field, okay? Then the next one is the promotion exchange. So what that means is that we have a culture where you earn your promotion, okay? Because the reality is that I can go in the system and I can just give you, okay, a senior marketing director contract. I could do that. So anybody on my team, I could just log on and give you a senior marketing director contract. Now, why would I do that? Does that help anybody?
You don't get the value of anything that's free.
Yeah, right? Guess what? 65% of zero is still zero. So it doesn't matter what your contract is. If you don't know how to do the business, if you don't know how to go out and help a person and actually earn your promotion, doesn't help the person, definitely doesn't help me because now I don't have that activity happening in my business, right? So you want to earn your promotion. Then we have the Builders Exchange. So what is the Builders Exchange? The Builders Exchange is when you are hitting your senior marketing director promotion, what you do is you give up an exchange leg to your upline SMD, okay? So I'll give you a concrete example. So let's say I'm the SMD here. So SMD, that's me, Kirsten. Let's say Mark is a senior associate, okay? And he is about to pop out to SMD. Yay, Mark. So Mark has his team here, right? So these are his 3 legs, okay? So these are all people, these little circles. Now, when Mark hits SMD, guess what? He takes his team with him, right? But he is going to leave his strongest leg with me, okay? That is called the Builders Exchange. Now, the reason why the founders of our company put this in the system is, remember, your most profitable part of your business is your base shop. So remember I said this system has got to be a win-win for everybody. So if I want to help Mark get to senior marketing director, but once he hits it, he's going to take his whole team with him. In a sense, even though I still get to override him, I'm losing a chunk of my base shop. You guys see that? So what the company did is they came up with the Builders Exchange. So Mark says, okay, I'm going to leave my strongest leg with you, Kirsten. Thank you for helping me hit this promotion. Thank you for all the time you invested in me, helping me get promoted, helping me train my team. Now I'm a senior marketing director. Now I get all the bonuses, all of that, and I get to promote a bunch of senior marketing directors. Thank you. So you give it, but guess what? Now he's a senior marketing director. So now all he's going to receive is what? Exchange legs. As he's helping people hit SMD, they're going to be doing the same. So you give it up one time to receive it an unlimited amount of times, okay? And then the last one is what we call the nobility exchange. So the nobility exchange is where you fight for your leader. So if you want your team to get excited to run for your promotion, you should what? You should run for your leader's promotion, right? So your team is going to duplicate whatever they see from you, okay? So if you want your team to get excited about helping you hit SMD, then you should probably get excited about helping your leader hit their next promotion, okay? And then your team is going to want to fight for you. So that's what we mean by the nobility exchange, okay? All right, let's keep going. I don't know why this takes so long to go. All right, so take out a clean sheet of paper. Today is the beginning of an explosion in my cash flow, my team, and the quality of my life. Say it with me. Everybody unmute yourself. We're going to say it together. 1, 2, 3. Today is the beginning of an
explosion in my cash flow.
quality of my life.
My life.
Awesome. All right, you guys ready? Ready to finish strong? All right, let's get into some more how-tos. So how do we get all of that? It all starts with 117. Again, what is 117? If I have a consistent focus of every week, I help one new business partner get on board and I help one client. And that could be the business partner helping them save, or that could be somebody else. But 117 every 7 days, that's gonna be the building block to get me to my 3-3-30, my 5-5-30, and all the promotions I want to hit, but it's also going to help me build the right habits in myself. Does that make sense, you guys? So that is the very, very simple, tangible thing. If you simply only focused on this consistently every week, you are going to bypass and surpass a lot of people that you see on the team, okay? Just by focusing on that. Which means all of us help our new teammates, right? We get one new business partner, we help that person start saving money, and then we do that in their first 7 days, okay? So how do we do this? Here's a script. If there was one person in the world that you'd like to be in business with, who would it be? Ask yourself that question. Ask your new business partners that question. So if you're sitting with your new business partner and you're helping them work on their list, ask them. So who's that person in your circle, in your life, that you would love to have on your team? They're a great person, got a great attitude, they work really hard, they're successful already, okay? Here's a hint, here's a clue. You're looking for people who are successful, okay? If you want to have a very, very strong business. And what I mean by that is you're looking for people that want the business, not people that need the business, okay? So what's an example of someone who needs the business? Oh, I got my friend, they're unemployed, right? Or they're only working part-time. They really need this business, okay? Versus someone who has a full-time career, has kids, meaning they have a big why, and they work a lot. All they got to do is shift that energy, shift that focus into this business, and then boom, they can explode. But they got to have the desire, right? So that's the difference. So remember, we're looking for people that you would actually want to have on your team. Because, and again, it's no disrespect to someone if, they're unemployed or they're not working or something. But again, oftentimes our habits, there's a reason, somewhat of a reason, why they're in that situation in the first place, okay? So you got to remember what you want your team to look like and what you want your business to look like. So look for people who are hard workers, right? Who have a big why, they do everything they can for their kids, right? Those are the type of people that you want to look for, right? And so what do? You call them. Hey, got something I want to share with you. I'd love to get your feedback and opinion on it. Can you please jump on a Zoom with me for a few minutes? There's your script, right? And we present to them and we go from there, okay? And then by focusing on your 117 consistently, you'll start doing 5-5-30 consistently, which is going to help you get to your tan jacket. So the tan jacket is a form of recognition that we use to really identify who the builders are in the room, okay? So to get to your tan jacket, what that means is you do 5-5-30 three months in a row, that should say and, not or, and a total of 15 team business partners and a minimum of 45,000 team points, okay? So by doing 5, 5, 30, 3 months in a row, that's where we get the 15 business partners from, but the points got to total at least 45,000 points, okay? And you want to have 2 legs 4 deep and make $10,000 in personal cash flow, okay? So if you focus on hitting this, so by doing 117, that's going to build you up to doing this. You'll be on track to hit SMD, right? And you can see that right there with the numbers, okay? So accountability is the glue that ties commitment to the results. So sometimes we have a bad view about accountability because we think that accountability is tracking our failure or focusing on what we didn't do or what we did wrong. That's not what accountability is. Accountability is tracking your progress, right? So you want to have someone that's going to hold you accountable, because how else are you going to get to your dreams? A lot of times we let ourselves off the hook, but if there's someone else that's challenging us, that's taking time to pour into us, like our leaders, and they're holding us accountable to the things that we said we wanted, that's only going to help you get to those dreams that you have for yourself, right? So be like a postage stamp. Stick to it until you get there, okay? So consider these laws. The law of averages. There are a lot more starters than finishers. I think I opened up with that. So as you're going out there, as you're building your team, as you're helping your new business partners, all that good stuff, remember, there's going to be a lot more starters than there are finishers, okay? Guys got it? So don't get discouraged if, your new business partner, you're excited, I got a new business partner, but then they're not, right? They don't follow through with their commitment, or they fall off, or they quit, okay? It's okay. That's part of the process. All we can do is all we can do. Write that down. All I can do is all I can do. So what does that mean? I focus on being a good leader. I focus on helping them. I focus on helping them get through the filters, getting their top 25 list, helping them do a 117. That's what I can do. If they still decide that they want to give up on their dreams at the end of the day, that's on them, right? But I always go back and look at myself. Is there something I maybe could have done differently or better that maybe may have helped them stick around a little longer, right? But it's not putting yourself down. Let's get out of putting ourselves down and shaming ourselves, right, for making mistakes. Because you can't be the best version of you if you're constantly putting yourself down. You got to let go of that stuff. We all make mistakes. It means that you're human. So if you make a mistake, acknowledge it, figure out how you can learn from it, but don't stay stuck there. Move on from it. It's in the past, okay? There's a bunch of people out there that are looking for you and that need you. And we want you to show up for them, okay? So what does that mean then? Use the law of high numbers. Get a bigger sample size. If you want to have 10 superstars on your team, maybe you should talk to 100 people, because if you talk to 100 people, they're not all going to be superstars, but maybe you could get at least 10 of them, find 10 of them in that 100 people to be superstars. So the more people engaged on your team, the higher the likelihood of finding the superstars, okay? The more people, that's why we always talk about volume. The more people you can talk to, the more appointments that you can set up. How many appointments should you be doing on a weekly basis? Well, it really depends on what your goal is. But if you're part-time, I would say at minimum, you don't want to go a week without having at least 10 appointments set up in your schedule, at least 10. That's if you're part-time, okay? And then you build up from there, okay? You got to recruit many people onto your team in order to find the superstars. Distribution is king. Remember, we are here to build a business. The more people that I can help make $1,000 part-time, then the faster I can get to my goals and my dreams. Okay? You don't need, and by the way, you don't need a bunch of superstars. You just need a lot of people doing a little bit. Okay? Honestly, You don't need a bunch of superstars. You look at a lot of these big teams, the number of superstars that they have in comparison to how many people they've recruited is, I would guess, less than maybe like 1%, maybe even less than 0.5%. But they're making like a bunch of millions of dollars a year. So again, it's not about the superstars. You're going to find those people and that's going to be great, but it's about having a lot of people doing a little bit every month, okay? So remember, everything in your business improves as you increase your recruiting numbers. The more duds, the more studs, right? So the more people that get started, the more people that I talk to, the better chance that I have of finding the people that are serious, that are excited, and that are hungry like me. So if you go through the high numbers, the law of averages says you will find leaders. So when you mine for gold, remember, you got to go through a lot of dirt, but you're not there for the dirt, okay? So it's the same thing in our business. When you're out there, you're talking to people, you're meeting with people, you're recruiting people, okay? And you're looking for that gold, you're not going to find more gold than not gold, right? You're going to find more people that are maybe going to be like, yeah, I'll try this thing, da 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 da. And then, but you're not there for those people. You're there for them because we're going to help them, but you're focused on the people that, again, that are hungry. Those are the people that you're looking for, okay? And too many people give up when they're so close. Don't let this be you. You see this guy down here? Look how close he was. And he gave up, right? So too many people give up when they are so close to achieving their dreams. Remember, there is no failure here. The only failure is when you give up on yourself. And by the way, I tell people this all the time. If you decide, when people decide that they want to quit, they think that they're quitting WFG, when in reality, they're actually quitting on themselves, right? WFG is a platform. And with this platform, you can use it to get to your dream, that dream that you've thought about, but was never a reality, okay? So if you give up on it, you're really giving up on yourself. And we don't want you to do that, right? So how much time do you have? Who is really busy? Be honest. You got kids, you got a job, you got stuff, you got commitments. Who's really busy, okay? A lot of us are busy. You talk to your clients like, oh, I'm so busy. Yeah, I get it, okay? We're all busy. We all got stuff going on, okay? So everyone has only 24 hours available in each day to produce income, right? Wrong. I don't only have 24 hours. You know why? Because I have a team. Now, if it's just me by myself, I only have 24 hours, right? But if I got 10 people on my team, I just duplicated myself. If I have 10 people on my team that can do exactly what I do, I just created 240 hours in the day. Because I don't have to be in the field helping people in order for people to get helped, because I have a team. If I got 100 people, that's 2,400 hours in a day. If I got 1,000 people, that's 24,000 people or hours in a day. And then on top of that, who loves to give back? Or one of the things that you would love to be able to do is make a lot of money. So, or no, not money, but you love to like give back your time, like volunteer, like there's things that you're committed to or would like to be more committed to. So one of the things that I like to talk about is that sometimes we're like striving for this perfect balance in our lives, and it's just not realistic, because there's going to be seasons in your life where you're going to have to make a sacrifice, give up things, because if you want to get one area of your life to really excel. So for me, it's been with the business, right? So the business takes up a majority of my time. Now, are there other things that I would love to participate in through my church, through things like that? Of course, but I've decided and made the decision for myself that at this point in my life, I'm going to say no to certain things because I want to invest that time here, because this is super important to me to get to where I want to be, okay? But here's the cool thing. I can't be everywhere at once, right? But my money can. So through this business, I can create the wealth so that I don't have to be everywhere, but my money can be in other places. I can give back to other causes, other organizations. I can support other things without even having to think about it. How would that feel? Being able to say yes to every need that came up your way because you got past the money, right? That's my driver, because I love to give back and there's a lot of things that I want to support. So I got to make a lot of money so that I don't have to worry about it anymore, right? I can give back the way that I want and I don't even have to think about it. So here are your options. This will be the, let's see. Yeah, so last couple slides. And then we're gonna head into the main room for some recognition. We're gonna recognize you guys because it's a big deal you're here. So it's gonna be awesome. So make sure you stay till the end. So here are your options. You can have linear income. So what's an example of linear income? That is your typical job scenario. So many of us started off at a job, right? And that is where you trade your hours for a set amount of dollars, okay? So the problem is that you're limited, clearly. If I'm at a job, my earning potential is very limited because it is not up to me. It's up to somebody else, what they're willing to pay me, right? By the way, isn't it kind of crazy how much a job controls our life? Controls our lifestyle, where we live, what kind of school we could send our kids to. I'm just saying, it's kind of crazy. All right, so the second option is you could go into a commission-based field where you get paid by commissions. Now, the good thing with that is that you have higher earning potential versus being a W-2 at a regular job, because now you're getting paid in commissions, so you do more production, can make more money. But then the challenge is that you're still limited because there's only 24 hours in a day and it's just you. So I got to sell in order to create income for myself. The moment I stop selling, I have no income coming in, right? So that would be like a real estate agent. Real estate agents, they got to constantly sell homes because there's not residual income, right? So it's still linear. Well, you could say, well, Kirsten, I have talent. I'm going to go write a movie, okay? Or I'm going to go record a hit song, and that's going to pay me residual income for the rest of my life, right? Or I'm going to be, well, let me say it in today's terms. I'm going to become an influencer. I'm going to start a YouTube channel, start Timothy rolls his eyes. I'm going to start an Instagram account. Like, I'm going to be an influencer, right? That's how I'm going to create my wealth. Well, the challenge with that is what? You got to have extraordinary talent. How many influencers are out there, right? If you look at even sports, how many people play sports in high school that actually make it to the NFL? It's less than 1%. It's so competitive, right? So it requires extraordinary talent and maybe a little bit of luck, quite honestly, in order to get to those types of levels, right? Or you can focus on multi-plus income, which is based off of skills and not talent, and build a team. So building a team allows for a large income through building and overriding an organization. It offers security by having many people's time working toward your benefit. It's self-replicating, self-motivated, self-financed, and it requires abilities that everybody can learn. This business is not based on talent. Now, some of you maybe thought it was, because you see people like Ed Milet, you see Hannah, you see, right, all the big leaders on stage, and you're like, wow, they're so awesome. They're such great speakers. They're such great motivators. They connect with people. I can't do that. Guess what? When you go to convention in July, that's our next major event we have coming up. You're going to see a lot more diverse group of leaders in our company. And you will see some people that will make you question what you thought before, because they're going to get on stage. They might not speak English. They might not have a lot of charisma. And you're like, wait a minute, this person is making millions of dollars a year. What do they have that I don't? So contrary to what you may think initially, and honestly, what I thought when I first came in the business, is that this business is not based on talent. You don't have to be a people person. You don't have to be an extrovert. You don't even have to be a great speaker to get started here. You could still make it here, because this business is based on skills, not talent. Skills that everybody can learn. I'll use me as an example, okay? You see me now speaking, all that kind of stuff, right? Me, naturally, I'm very quiet, very reserved. Growing up, I was like very shy, very self-conscious. That was me. Hated speaking in public. That was me. But what happened? I learned skills to get me to where I wanted to go. So the next time you're in an appointment and someone tells you that they can't do this business because they're not a salesperson, or they're not an extrovert, right? And they say that, all you got to tell them is like, oh, that's not a problem. I'll teach you. Next. Right? Like, honestly, we're not rocks. We're people. We have the ability grow and to learn. So when people say, oh, I'm not a good salesperson, I'm like, yeah, neither was I. That's why I learned. Okay. We have training, so we're going to teach you. And they're like, oh. So what it really is that they don't believe in themselves, or they're not willing to change. They're not willing to learn a new skill to get them. So what you got to do now is you just got to connect the dream, find out what they really want, and connect it to why they should do this, right? Because the people that win in our business are the people that are hungry, okay? Has nothing to do with their talent. It doesn't even have to do with their skills. Yes, they're going to learn that, but they're hungry and they find a way to make it happen regardless. Never forget that, okay? All right, here are some secrets of successful builders. Have a vision. Love what you do. Fall in love with what we do for people. If you're not in love with what we do, you need to get out in the field more. You don't need to read more books. You don't need to do more research. You need to actually get in the field and see what we do for families. That's how you're going to fall in love with what we do, okay? Accept responsibility for where you're at. It's nobody's fault but my own, okay? So if you are frustrated with where you are at in the business, reach out to your leader and have a solution-oriented mindset that you want to figure out how to get better, and allow your leader to coach you, okay? Don't motivate people, look for motivated people. Isn't it draining trying to motivate someone who's just not like, right? Like they don't want to move. We said it the other day with an associate. You can what? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. Leading the horse to water is giving the presentation to people, but they got to decide that they want to buy into this opportunity, right? So look for people that are motivated and that are hungry to make a change in their life. Be teachable and be coachable. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Remember, this system has worked for years and years and years. You have leaders that, as I just spent the last hour explaining to you, have a vested interest in your success. Listen to them, right? I don't always agree with everything my leader tells me to do, but at the end of the day, she makes a lot more money than I do, okay? She's the one overriding me, not the other way around. So I have to remind myself of that sometimes and say, you know what? Let me be open-minded. Let me get my ego and my opinions out of the way, and let me listen to what she's saying, because I know she's not going to tell me anything that's going to get me away from my goals. It's only going to make me better, right? Be prepared to climb from peak to peak. Most people recruit based on how they feel, right? That's why that 117 is powerful, because it helps instill the habit in you to always do that regardless of how you feel, right? I don't always feel like talking to people, okay? But I do it because I'm here on a mission, right? It's to become financially free. So I do what it takes. Dedicate yourself to continuous personal and professional development. Read good books, listen to audios, podcasts, things that are going to help you grow and develop yourself. Record every seminar you can. Most successful leaders do, right? Become an unshakable optimist. You can have a bad attitude or a great attitude. What's going to serve you? Having a great attitude, right? Practice that. Dedicate yourself to serving others. If you focus on helping other people, that's the beauty of being in a win-win system. If I focus on getting my people to their next level, I'm going to win. That's the system. And develop a reputation for speed and dependability, okay? Speed and dependability, which is being coachable. You want your leader to know that they can depend on you. That's a great reputation to have. Hannah and Rudy, you think they know they could depend on me and Lester? Yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah, for sure.
150%. They can count on us for anything. That's the reputation that we've built, right? Do you have that reputation with your leader? Do they know that they can count on you to show up when it's important, right? To do what you say you're going to do, things like that, okay? It's going to come back to you tenfold. Remember, your team is going to duplicate everything they see in you. So if they see you dedicated to your leader being coachable, guess what? Now you have a chance of having a team that's dedicated and coachable to you, okay? Be 100% honest with yourself and others. Practice self-discipline, okay? And get your tan jacket, right? Production and promotions come as a byproduct. So getting to those different levels, getting to associate, senior associate, marketing director, Those are all byproducts of you focusing on the system, which is 117, okay? Focusing on that consistently will inevitably get you to all of those levels and beyond, right? You will beat your competition like a drum. And then before you know it, your team is going to look like this. Who would love to have a team that looks like this? This is Swan Win, okay? Swan Win is the biggest guy in our company. He makes like $20 million a year, whatever he makes, okay? He's one of the OGs. You may see him at convention. He spoke at our convention last year. Amazing, amazing guy, okay? This is Hubert Humphrey. No longer in the business, one of the OGs from back in the day, but he built his organization to look like this. Crazy, 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 right? And then this is the last part. If a pilot of a large airliner doesn't get up to the speed of 140 miles per hour, the magical liftoff speed, he won't become airborne, no matter what else he does, okay? So what do I mean by that? Our system here, so all the stuff that I talked about, the income potential, the team, the dream trips, all of that stuff, if you don't get your plane to 140 miles per hour, which is what? If you're not running the system 117 every week, right? Getting in the double-digit recruiting, having at least 10 people coming on board every month. If you don't build up and you're not running those kinds of numbers, it doesn't matter how hard you believe in this, your plane is not going to take off, okay? It requires the work to put into it to get the results that you're looking to do. Sound good? That being said, go get your tan jacket. Yay, all right.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, guys. Well, I just want to say that I am super excited for all of you, super proud of all of you. Thank you for those of you who kept your cameras on the whole time. As you can tell, I feed off of your energy. So if I could see you, it helps me out a lot. And I can just give you, give you my best, but super excited for you, super proud of you. As soon, here's the first thing, right? First, go do 117 again this week, right? That's my first challenge. Second challenge is decide already that you will be with us at the convention in July, okay? And so the tickets for that should be opening up next month. Procrastinate later. As soon as it opens, set the money aside now. Commit to yourself that you're going to be there, because we build our business from big event to big event. And the quicker you commit that you're going to be there, the quicker you can focus on getting a bunch more of your teammates there, right? Can't do that if you're not registered yourself. And of course, you guys know we have a contest going on now to get to hang out with John Shin at his ranch or at his house, whichever one we end up doing. So John Shin, some of you saw him at the New Year kickoff, multiple seven-figure earner in our company, super down to earth, but he is opening his home for the people that qualify to get direct mentorship from him. This is a huge deal, huge opportunity, and all you got to do to hit it is what? Anybody know? Who knows what you got to do to qualify?
5-5-30.
5-5-30, yes. Get 5 business partners, 5 people on board, and help 5 families. And you got to do that by February 8th, and you qualify to be there. Sound good? And you'll be on track to hitting all your goals and everything like that. Everything we do is going to help you with your next levels. Okay, guys? All right, you guys are awesome. Real quick, I see we have, I think just one person, Motorola Moto G. Whoever that is, if you could please let us know what your actual name is so that it can include you in the recognition. Please put it in the chat, or if you can change your display name to what your name actually is. We don't want to miss out on having you. All right, guys, so we are now going to head back into the main room where we're going to be finishing up with some recognition, recognizing you guys. So make sure that you stay on for that. So you could go ahead and click the bottom where it says leave breakout room, and that will take you back into the main session. Great job, everybody. See you there.